We start recording this episode, I would like to congratulate all my dear Liverpool fans who are now celebrating their first Premier League title in almost 30 years. So, congratulations. And if we are now done rubbing our noses in front of all the Man United fans, I would like to welcome you to the One Take Show. My name is Kaustubh Srivastava, and today we are in conversation with a wonderful guest. Our guest today is Jalaj Jain. Jalaj is a student of law reading law at Gujarat National Law University. He is a host and producer of a wonderful web series called Fun with Law, which has guests from around the world discussing some of the most exciting legal developments and issues, which is extremely knowledgeable and so fun to watch. I will also be linking his channel down in the description, so please do check his videos out. They are really brilliant. They add so much value and give you so much perspective. In this episode, we are going to get real. Yes, we are going to talk about podcasts. We are going to talk about competition, anxiety, law school, his journey in law school, his interest in technology and law, and what are his plans for the future. I believe you will like this episode, so make sure you like, share, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions, feedbacks, make sure you reach out to me. I would absolutely love that. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's jump right into the conversation with Jalaj Jain right here on the One Take Show. Hello, Jalaj. Welcome to the One Take Show. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. I believe not a lot of people have shared this space, and although the space is growing at such a fast pace, but we talk about your podcast, Fun with Law. It has captured so much traction. It has captured such a huge audience. And what I really love about your podcast, I'll state right away off the bat that the fact that you try to innovate the kind of approach that you have towards your conversation has really caught my eye. I think one of the very important factors, because you see a lot of podcasts are surfacing these days, but the quality of the podcast, the intention behind the same, as well as putting in the effort and trying to make it humorous, interactive, and the quality of the same should also upward. I think that has been a very uh, inspiring sort of a competition, if I say so, or sort of a reference point for me to look up to. So thank you so much for taking time out today. I think we'll talk about your podcast. We'll talk about your decision to do law, your journey in law school thus far, and maybe we can learn a lot from you as well. And our listeners can also draw a lot of inspiration from your experience. So thank you so much for taking time out for today.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Fun with Law. I mean, I'm just so used to it. I had to do that. All right, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot for having me. And it's genuinely so nice to be on someone's podcast. Usually, I'm the one who's interviewing, and it's so nice. And also to all the viewers, I would like to say, so this is not a podcast about law school or internships, or I'm not giving any tips, advice. The only two things that I'm genuinely interested to talk about is my podcast and my interest in law and tech, and that is the only thing I'm qualified to talk about, my interest and the podcast. So, please, but cost of genuinely, man, it's a good job. Genuinely, you're doing a very good job. And I'll tell you a funny story. So when your podcast came out last month, someone sent an episode of yours to me.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and you know who sent it? Someone from Geneva.
Wow.
Yeah. Someone from Geneva sent it, and I won't name that person. So he said, new kid on the block, and not as good as you though. And for 30 seconds, I was like, how can he do it? This is my platform. I started it. I was the first one. Then I suddenly realized, this is my chance to not be arrogant about things, and to really support people. And I realized that I have 200 views on my videos. I have no right to say that, I came here first, I'm doing better. And then I realized, and then, I saw yours, and then I realized how different our podcasts are and how different the format is, what you are doing. And genuinely, man, and you won't believe it, 2 weeks later, you invited me. And this is so humbling, the experience, that, usually there's so much jealousy, there is so much, there is so much, like, and we both are in the same year. And for you to forget that, I really respect it. And genuinely, it's brilliant. And thanks a lot for having me.
Well, thank you so much, Jalaj, for setting the tone of our conversation today. I think one of the very important reasons why I decided to have this conversation with you is because I wanted to make it very real, talk about the actual stuff. So I'll tell you why. What is the background of this conversation? We've seen in the quite recent past, obviously after the lockdown, that our LinkedIn is on steroids. Everyone is just doing stuff. Like the LinkedIn is right up on the heat.
And it gives a lot of existential crisis, the sort of identity crisis that we law students are anyway equipped with. So that issue has obviously given us also the kind of the jealousy as you talk about, or the other feelings that you talk about. Yes, they surface. So what happened was I started my podcast using Anchor app, and I decided to keep it very strictly to Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts and stuff like that. And then I come across Fun with Law. So I actually moved from people who are doing podcasts to someone who's been doing it before I started doing podcasts, and is actually doing a good job. So I decided what exactly can I do here in order to make my podcast work better in any way. Then I realized exactly what you mentioned. My podcast has 2 to 300 views on YouTube. It has a limited audience of 2,000, 3,000 people. So yes, I am no Joe Rogan. Yes, like we have no locus standi to at any point of time compete with anyone, because and it is at this point that we can actually decide to help each other and somehow improve the quality of the podcasts. Because I believe there is tremendous amount of things that we can learn from Fun with Law. And I'll start with the first one that I believe I have seen. How comfortable you are with the fact that your podcast is not sort of an engagement platform with legal luminaries where you use an official language and become extremely uptight about it. You understand your product, you understand your podcast, and you're extremely comfortable about it. You crack jokes. Your videos have amazing songs. I've actually commented on one of your videos with the amazing song that you've included. So yes, I think that is one thing I took away from it. Okay, maybe I don't need to start every podcast of my "Hello everyone, welcome to the One Take Show. My name is Kaustubh Srivastava." I can be normal. I can be calm about it. So yes, that is one thing I took away from you. So how was the principle like? What was your principle behind starting this podcast? What's inspired you? And how?
I will tell you. I'll tell you what happened. So basically, my friend group in Gurgaon, the boys that I have, my people, and you know that group you have since you have grown up with. So we are really content-oriented people, right? So for example, like my best friends were like Shahrukh, Shubhankar, Aryan, Aviral, all like you will, when you talk to them, and the most like they always have a camera in his hand and all of that. So what happened is, when and my dad is into photography, so I have like semi-professional equipment at home. Like I have lighting, I have everything. So what happened was that one day I was just sitting, and I just wanted to do certain kind of like record video or something like that, and I came up with I don't know, it was I recorded something and I just uploaded it on my Instagram saying Fun with Law. And I didn't know what to do, how to do, and I just uploaded that trailer of 1 minute. And then 2 days later, 3 people messaged me, what are you doing with, what is this Fun with Law? And I'm like, okay, I have to do something now. And then Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory. So so he have you seen Fun with Flags?
Yeah, I have.
That was the thing. That is in my trailer. So that was the whole thing. So I wanted to do something like, tell silly facts about law and then and make a video out of it. And what happened was, then I realized you need good production budget to do it, and you need time, and you need skills, which I don't have. So what happened? My mentor, who's I don't know, he's a friend, he's an elder brother, he's everything to me. He's Nipun Saxena. He's the advocate. He's a brilliant advocate, and I'm also in touch with him. Every week, sometimes we talk, and I suddenly said, hey, would you like to discuss COVID law on my podcast? I was like, let's do it. Let's try it. And I was exploring options. In January, I had just mentioned it to my friends, I want to start a podcast. And they said, no, you're stupid, let's not do it. And these are the same people who supported me, who support me till date, but obviously then they were having fun. Then it happened, then I recorded the first episode. Then people sort of liked it. And then I was like, okay, my senior was a Rhodes scholar. So I recorded with him. Then, I don't know, then I got founder of Law Seeker to do it. And then I did an LLM series. So I recorded 3 episodes in 2 days. And suddenly over 15-20 days, I had 14 episodes recorded. You won't believe this is how it happened. And most of the guests that I have, I already met them somewhere. And with me, the only skill that I think I have is to build relationships over time. I don't have that ego that I'm an elitist or, I'm look at me, I'm I don't have Like I know what's the value of people is. I want to invest in people.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this is how I built it. What's your story? You tell me.
Well, I would. So I think this is a very similar story to mine as well. I think I started my podcast with a very so I don't really enjoy writing papers a lot, although this is an indispensable part of our education. I think everyone should go about it, as I also try to do that. But I prefer talking to people. I think that is the common interest that we share here. So when I started the idea of podcast, I started researching on exactly how we can go to podcast. I never imagined that I would move it to YouTube or start recording it on Zoom or Skype. My entire principle was that I will record it using some audio app, and it was Anchor app. It helped me distribute the podcast to multiple spaces as well. I started with a very good friend of mine, Mansha Siraj, and she had cleared her LLM applications for 7 universities in US, which was a pretty amazing opportunity. So I decided, yeah, cool. So maybe I've been wanting to do something. People are doing something or the other everywhere. So I started a bit, and after that, I just got like I had no plan whatsoever. I just had some people in mind, which I was pretty sure that okay, if I approach them, they might just agree. So I started approaching people randomly, dropping them messages on LinkedIn, and so LinkedIn.
People are quite open. I've seen. Yes. I mean, for me, for my podcast, it's like I want only 24 episodes. So now the thing is, now I've really limited my guests. I've already recorded 18. So only 6 are to go, and I already have 3 in pipeline. So now I'm not really approaching people because I know I want that specific person to be on my podcast.
Right.
But that's true, man, and it's been a liberating experience. And this thing you talk about papers and shit, right? And so basically, that's true. I mean, that exactly true. For example, my one episode, because mine is a long format episode, so yours it will be different process. So my process here is that I drop someone a message on LinkedIn. I speak to them. Then I email them. Then after emailing them, they reply. I have to text them 2-3 times. After that, they give me time. After that, so obviously you also send me some talking points. I have an elaborate list of talking points, and you know what the agenda of the episode is going to be, and everything. Then after that, I prepare for the episode, and then I record it, and then editing takes almost a day. And then, because as you know, the episodes sometimes go to 2 to 3 hours, and I already release 1 hour of content. Then I make these separate videos and then upload it. So imagine, man, I'm devoting 4 to 5 days of my life to one episode, and that is easily as much time as you will spend on writing like a 1500 word blog, right? So, and that is the whole point, you know, the format is changing. Like, for example, it's becoming more visual now. Right. So, for example, if we write blogs, I don't understand why do we not have infographics? Why do we not have timelines? Why do we not have graphs?
Correct.
Because this is how you take information. But the problem here is that what I have felt is people are really stuck. Like people are stuck in the past. People are not ready to change. And that's the only difference between me that I genuinely can point out between me and my peers. That's the only difference. I don't think so I'm smarter than anyone. I genuinely don't think, you know, I can do anything better than anyone else. But what I know is that I'm open to change.
Right.
Yeah. What's your schedule? Like, how much time does your one episode take?
So I'll answer that. I just I think you pointed something out very important, which I was also saying, that the fact that I could approach all the guests on LinkedIn and I could get them on my podcast. It's actually it dismantles a huge belief system that exists among the law students that luminaries cannot be approached. And I've realized that all it takes is you to write a message, and all the worst that can happen is that you get rejected. I think the rejection is it is very common. I think law students are used to it. Every second email that you send out for internships is rejected. So I think it's not a problem. But more than often, it happens that people actually agree, and I think I've really enjoyed that process. Going out of my comfort zone and trying to approach people in order to do something extremely constructive with them. Also guiding them into this format and talking about, okay, so this is the time limitation, this is the things that we talk about, and this is how it will go about. You want me to send you the video clip if you want something to be edited out, something that needs to be changed, and everything. So entire setup is very engaging.
And people are quite responsive. For example, the senior most judge of Bangladesh Supreme Court, he replied to me, man. I mean, he said, "Oh, you're doing an amazing job, and thanks for considering me, but I'm really busy these days." I mean, I'm fine with that. I mean, people are responsive, and especially LinkedIn. I'm really people are really stupid who are not using LinkedIn properly.
Yeah, correct.
I have found internships through LinkedIn,
Correct.
and obviously, you have to target the right people, and you can't speak you can't speak more than the knowledge you have.
Correct.
For example, while I'm interning, for example, obviously I can't name the place, but I'm interning right now. I make it a point to not share my podcast with anyone in the associates. Like, see, it's not popular, so I'm lucky. So the idea is my work should speak for myself. And you and I, and anyone who has this kind of platform where they're going and speak in public, we have to work harder. We have to work harder at internships because because people are looking, because see, it's very easy to say, "Oh, they podcast hai uski, so he's very stupid in real life."
Yes.
And it's very easy to say that, and it's going to happen. So the only thing I'm scared right now about is that I need to work 5 times harder
right.
than I would work before, because now I have my name out there.
Yeah. That's a very important point. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I think I think you will agree with this, and I think you would have also have realized this. The moment you start reaching out to people, you have the sense of credibility and responsibility that is very new to you. I mean, you could have easily faded out in oblivion if you would not have reached out to them. It would have been extremely. All you would have done is like stay put. But the moment you reach out to them, I think not just for the podcast, your entire outlook becomes exposed. And now you have to stand up to the expectations that the person has with you. For example, I think I'm going to record with a specific guest of mine who lives in US and is a professor at Stanford University. And I really suggest that you would really enjoy this episode. I won't name the guest because more than often it happens that I only like to name the guest after I've recorded the episode. Because
I know that.
100% chances that the episode gets postponed or guest is busy or some sort of shit happens.
Yeah.
But I think the credibility that comes with it, the research that comes with it, now you're responsible for the entire process. I think I've been very, very lucky that I have not messed up to the extent where it is not curable. Like, I think everything that we do is adding on to a lot of responsibility. And I'm also interning as of this moment. I think it is extremely, it is exposing us to the possibility of actually managing 2-3 projects at a time, which is giving us a good exposure. So do you also feel that somehow you have now exposed yourself to a technical side? I mean, I know you are interested in law and technology, but as far
that's
as...
the problem, I have told, I don't know, on every episode I've gone and told the world I like law and tech. Now if I go and say some stupid things about intellectual property, I will get beaten up.
Makes sense, yes.
Like I have to be responsible the way I talk about these things, because now when I've told the people that, this is my area of interest, then I can't really talk like a noob. I mean, I have to know my thing. And since then, I've been reading a lot more. And my internship, I've been working harder. But man. But one thing that happened, and if you want, you can edit it and put it on the beginning also. The reason I've been able to do all of this is because throughout my life, since the age of 10 to 20, I have been in love with a girl, or either been sad about being in love with a girl.
Wow. Yeah, nice.
January first week of my life was the first time I realized, no boss, it's not done. And I'm working at like 3 times my capacity. I'm genuinely not capacity, like I always like, because all the inhibitions are gone. I have like all the idiotic thoughts have gone from my mind, and I don't know what has happened in 2020. And while the whole world is gone for a toss, I have become the most productive person that I have ever seen. Like I would never knew that I could be so productive.
Yes.
And and you see, when you're busy and you do 20 things, right? When 2-3 don't work out, it's fine.
Yes.
Right.
That's a very important point. Yes.
Yes. And you were saying something.
No, I completely agree with that. I think there are 2 things. Firstly, the fact that now you do not have a distraction with the love interest shows a Gurgaon boy now surfacing all of a sudden. But that's a good thing. Yeah. And
I mean, I'm really having a ball, man. I'm genuinely like, this is the first time in life I realized my potential. I mean, okay, you won't believe, like, for example, like, and suddenly God has been there. So all the things that I had been working on, since past 2 years, they materialized.
Yes.
Like one paper of mine that me and my junior Saya, we were working on, like, we were after that person's life August last year.
Makes sense.
And we were after him for 5 months. He's a guest on my episode number 10. And Gary Merchant, and we were after his life, and we finally wrote it, and in March it got accepted by a journal. I won't name the journal right now, because like it's not published yet, it's accepted. So suddenly all of these things happen, and now I realized where I can go from this. And it's very important to peak at the right time. Because there were a lot of people who especially did a lot in your first 2 years, but then suddenly they were like, okay, I've done a lot. With me, what happened is, like, suddenly what I also realized is that our peak should come in our 5th year. Fifth year is the time no one is doing anything because they want to chill. But I want to reverse, because I think 5th year I'll be the most, like, I will know the most, right? And I'll be eligible for more opportunities. Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much. Yeah, I'm sure you have a list of questions, so you can.
No, there is no list of questions. I'm keeping my phone away. I don't care. There's no list of questions. This is my Craig Ferguson moment. I'm carrying my cue cards away. But the idea here is
that and honestly, talking about fun with law, can I take 2 minutes to just tell you?
Yes. This is fun with law. Talk.
Yeah. So the whole idea of fun with law was also, to reclaim my hobbies, to reclaim who I was as a person.
Yeah.
So if you will see, the first 40 seconds, 1 minute is me telling a joke.
Yeah.
And then there's music, which I love. Like, all right, so stand-up comedy, theater, music, and obviously that talking point, and just to I don't know if I can abuse, but to F around, with people.
Yes.
And, that is something. Those were my hobbies, and I had lost it because I was so nervous, so insecure as a person in college that I left everything. And now you won't believe it. I take 2 to 3 hours to select the song for my each episode.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's a rap, sometimes it's just some music from a Tarantino movie.
Yes.
And I really, because bada maza aata hai yaar, just to get everything gets amalgamated into one thing.
Right.
And it's so satisfying, gratifying, Yeah.
This is very interesting. Like, your every effort shows. Your product is something that we actually enjoy, and every product that has a proper investment in it attracts the kind of audience that it should. But you talk about being a little bit insecure in a law school, and this is where I would like to take this conversation to a little bit. Do you feel with this podcast as well, or in general, I think a lot of people do experience this, they don't talk about this, that in law school we are exposed to the kind of competition we should not be facing, in my opinion, but that competition is making us go through the feelings that are not really productive in nature. So it's not the healthy competition. For example, the podcast space itself is very competitive in nature. There is not exactly competitive.
How many podcasts are there? It's you, me, Shashwat, who else?
So Avasthi's podcast is very different. So I think Avasthi's...
What I'm saying is, who is, even if we count him, who else is there? No one is there.
No, there are people from around. Okay, wow, what the hell is going on, dude? Do you experience this as well? While you're recording and somebody from the background suddenly starts talking and you're like, wait a minute, you need to get rid of that.
No, my parents are very supportive.
It's my neighbors, man. They just can't shut up. Just give me 1 second.
It's fine, I can't.
No, just 1 second. Alright. Perfect. Now this has to go out in the final product. People need to see the reality.
Yeah. No, you were talking about insecurity in law school, and genuinely, I think my process is not complete yet. So I'm not the best person to speak about it. But one thing I will definitely mention is that there are moments you will feel you're not competent.
Yeah.
And and for example, like and the thing is, especially, for example, I'm from a DPS, right, from Gurgaon. So obviously, and you always felt that you were the king of the jungle in your school because you were there since your pre-nursery. And I'm telling you, like, there was a batch of 500 in my school, but there were 30-40 kids, you know, who were into everything, who were doing everything. You know, you can ask Shashwat, he was the head boy, and my best friend, he was vice head boy. Like two of my other friends, Aryan was head boy, Aviral was president. There used to be MUN of my school, I was the secretary general. My other two friends who were there, Vasik, Dhruv, they were all editors, they were running. Like, you will see, and obviously it was a wrong space to be in.
Yeah.
Right, because you were not really empowering talent. It was just you, there was an exclusive club, and you were doing all the things.
Yeah.
So what later that happened in law school is that everything came down to zero. So I was nothing. And it took me 2 months to accept that. And then my self-confidence just hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was thinking I'm nothing. So that really happened. And I'm obviously still, you know, that I still feel equally insecure. But what I can share my experience with you is during lockdown, what has happened is there are 3 types of people that have come up. Okay, so number one, there were people who have really stopped thinking about the world and they think it has come to a standstill. And then they're just in their room watching Netflix and thinking, we'll continue after the world gets better. The second kind of a person is like us. They're like, oh, okay, I need to be productive. What is happening? We need to do this. The third person is, that person is also not doing anything. But they are taking a productive break because they have been so occupied since the last 3 years. With so many things. Like, for example, my friend Varun Kasturi, he's been at it since first day of his law school, and he deserves this break that he's gotten. But there are people who I speak with. They're like, oh my God, this world has stopped. And the first kind of people that I spoke about. And they are losing out on a lot because world has not changed. Only the circumstances has changed. World is still going on. And yes, there's a lack of opportunities. But people who are functioning, for example, my friend, like, I don't want to name him, but he's gotten job offers sitting at home. He's working hard.
Makes sense.
A lot of us have internships. Obviously, those who had the foresight applied in March.
Yes.
Right. And it's so, yeah, man, I mean, you really have to stop thinking that the world has ended and, you know, we'll resume later. Sorry, man.
That's
it's
not
working.
Yes.
Yeah, the world is going on.
So I think this is a very interesting point here. I think anyone who knows me personally would be laughing and would be understanding why I'm smiling so much, because I think both of us are very similar, like uncanny similar. I think the idea that we need to do something or the other to somehow make the best of our time, because especially it happens when I stay at home, you know, when we stay in lockdown, we get a lot of time. There's this void. Yes, there's a void. There's a lot of time.
The void is not hard, right?
Yes.
We are trying to, well, I'm talking about myself here. I'm always trying to fill it. Yeah, I know I'll go crazy because either by then I need people around me. Alright, if that's not happening, then I need to be busy.
Yes.
I know that's a very wrong way to deal with, you know, I don't know, mental health, happiness, and all of that. But that's the process, man. You can't do anything about it. Kya karoon main? Like, I don't. Therapy is expensive.
It makes sense. Yes, therapy is quite very expensive. Yes.
Yeah. So I think this is we have to be busy. Yeah. Go ahead.
So yes, I think that is a very important point. We have to work and somehow make it. So for me personally, I think one of the questions that I have regularly pondered upon is whether I really want to end up with law or in a legal career or not. Having taken humanities after 10th, it was always a dream to go for civil services like any other normal standard humanities student would have. And now that we are in law school, we are exposed to different possibilities and opportunities. You realize, okay, maybe there are career opportunities more realistic than UPSC. Maybe a little more possible than UPSC. Then you start exploring opportunities. That is why every time I start my podcast, I always ask my guests, what has your journey been like, and what has inspired you to do law, so that I can somewhere find some sort of an interpretive and somehow understanding as to why people do law. And I've enjoyed this process so far. I think I'm pretty good at what I do. But yes, I think what you talk about, the competition in law school and the insecurity that comes with it, the jealousy that comes with it, is very prevalent.
Haven't you noticed it has gone down? Don't you think it has gone down during lockdown?
It has to.
I think no, but I think people are more supportive of each other, because I believe Because suddenly what has happened is we were in a cycle, right? Cycle was
Correct.
okay, 6th time get a tier 1. Like, at least in my college, and I think it's same for like for 5, 6 universities. Like you first go in 6th time you get a tier 1 internship, 7th time you get a call back. Either you get an interview or you sit for day 0 get a job. And honestly, I didn't want that, but I was still falling into that trap.
Correct.
As simple as that, right? But what has happened is during lockdown, there has been a loss of opportunities for everyone.
Correct.
Tier 1s are not giving opportunities. There is no system of callback. You all know that whatever happens before November, December, no one is going to these firms.
Yes.
And then later also, you don't know if the callbacks will happen or they will hire directly from campus. So suddenly we have all come out of that cycle. Like my friends have been incredibly supportive. Especially for example, recently now applications came, vacation scheme applications. And suddenly like, we spoke about it openly, all of us, like when I speak to my friends, we're like, okay, I'm applying because buddy, like I realized that it's been very liberating.
Yes.
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 Because all of us are now helping each other.
That is an important point.
Under level of happiness, because all the insecurity comes from seeing each other and looking at superficial things.
Correct. Yes.
That is gone.
Correct. Because I think lockdown has exposed some of the most vulnerable parts of our lives. This is what I've realized as well. This is what I was talking to Shashwat about. And I think, so I'll tell you what, there are a lot of my friends who are doing a lot of stuff. So there are certain people who are associated with certain societies and other people. So me and Avasti are one of the closest friends. Like I have, for me, Avasti is one of my closest friends. And Avasti has always been the kind of person who has pushed me to do and more, and very honestly so. Like he's given me the kind of encouragement that you would expect from a friend. Having said that, now the lockdown starts, you start looking at other people who are, let's say, starting a podcast or writing papers and stuff like that. You realize that maybe instead of competing with them and damaging your mental health while you're also living inside your closed environment and are already exposed to so much time that you can overthink, what you can do is rather collaborate. I think collaboration has changed my perspective a lot when it comes to these things. I think what you talk about, talking about these opportunities like vacation scheme with your friends is extremely important. I take my feedbacks, I make sure that I send out my videos and keep asking for feedbacks, because I know, I think it's a very amateurish sort of an adventure, and
half the time they give feedback also. It's just good to say, can I have your feedback?
Yes. Like literally you have to reach out to them and ask them कि भैया देखा है podcast? They're like यार देख लेंगे यार. मैंने कहा भैया 22 एपिसोड हो गए, एक एपिसोड निकाल के देख लो and give me a bloody feedback that I can improve upon. You guys are supposed to be closest of the friends. Yeah. But I've had to like ask people to that. I think that has liberated a lot of insecurities that we would have in general about people.
But it's also, I think people have, after a while, people, what they've done is they have let go of their innovations, are trying to do things they actually love.
Correct.
Right. Yes. After a while, for example, law and tech is something that I have always thought about. And obviously I'm doing little things, but never mainstream anything I did. For example, right now I'm interning with some people who are big in this space. Right. Next month also I have an internship scheduled where they are the leading people in this space. What suddenly happened was that I got the time to think that, okay, this is something I really enjoy. And without that pressure, I got that opportunity. And suddenly, I mean, I completely forgot the point that you were making. But my point here is that, for example, I'll tell you what right now excites me. And so the point I was making is that how we have all found a niche, like some of us.
Yeah.
And some of us have decided, okay, I want to do this.
Makes sense.
Because after a while, someone, I'll actually, you've laid down on your bed, thought about it for a month. And so after a while, you have gotten that time. So with me, what excites me is, it's going to sound a bit nerdy, but what excites me is microcredit.
Okay.
So microcredit is basically loans like, 50,000 rupees, 1 lakh, not even 1 lakh, 25,000, 50,000. People, underbanked people. Underbanked means those who don't have opportunity to take loans from main banks, big banks. All right. So what currently excites me is that basically, if you, for example, if today you want a loan, you have a credit score, which is basically the probability of you defaulting.
Yeah.
So All right. So if you have a high credit score, it means you're less likely to default on your loan. All right. The moment you miss out on your EMI, your credit score gets low.
Yeah.
Right. That's a simple concept. That there's a number that is given to you. That number is based on certain linear points, such as your income, your education, what's your status, where you live, 20 things. All right. Now imagine. So what about a villager who's farming, who doesn't have a bank account, who doesn't know 20 other things? That guy can't get a loan because he doesn't have a credit score. Why are students and first time loan takers have a high interest rate? Because they don't have a credit score. So right now I'm excited about, but what do these farmers have? They have phones, they have internet, so they have a digital footprint, right?
Yes.
So for example, I have data of last 100 years, all right? Let's take data of last 20 years who have taken loans. So now the data is people who have both first names and last names in their email IDs are 30% less likely to default on their loans than people who have just their first name in their email ID.
Yeah.
All right, that's research. Now imagine, so that these are called non-linear data points. They are not directly related to tech, to credit scoring, but they are. But somehow, if you see that data, that big data, you can extract out these points from them. I'm sorry you're getting, but the point here, but the point here is that you take thousands of these data points and build a score. So, if you give a Facebook account and your Instagram and what your Google search is, I can basically determine what's your likeliness of defaulting, and I can give you small credit where the risk for me is not that high.
Yeah.
Now imagine these small people, these farmers, underbanked people, they go to small lenders and take loans worth 18%, 100% interest rates.
Yes.
And they're always stuck in the line of poverty.
Correct.
Now I'm working on an idea which can potentially uplift hundreds of millions of people out of poverty because they can get microcredit. And that is what Alibaba is doing in China. But no one is doing it in India because obviously social scoring has its own drawbacks. Data, you're basically scoring people. But obviously my idea is different. Yeah. But now imagine I'm doing such a niche thing. Why will someone get jealous of me? Why will someone get insecure? My podcast, it has only 24 episodes, season 1. I'll do season 2 sometime next year or next to next year.
Correct.
All right. And all good things should come to an end, and that's why I'm doing 24 episodes.
Yes.
I can't do this forever. Earlier I thought, I'll just take one day out of my life and do it, but no. Because you need to maintain certain kind of quality and have certain kind of guests.
Yes.
It has to be limited.
Agree. Yes. I'm just happy finally someone is saying this out loud because a lot of effort goes into this process. I mean, first of all, I think your idea is very interesting. The kind of microcredit will really benefit a lot of people. The concept looks very interesting, although I need to read up a little bit more about this. I think this is opening up a lot of opportunities.
Don't copy my idea. Don't copy my idea. I'll beat you up.
No, I copy this idea and suddenly I start writing papers about it because that's what I do. Sure. No, but this is a very interesting idea. The other interesting ideas that I've really come across recently, one, I was talking to Mr. Bharat Chop, and he mentioned the concept of super lawyers, and he talked about the artificial intelligence and how that is transforming this entire jurisprudence across the world. We talk about criminal liability, contractual liability through artificial intelligence. The other areas that we've talked about, so a lot of development in a lot of legal sphere because of the change in dynamics.
But it's all jargon. I have actually, because I'm into law and tech, right? So I have actually sit and read about it. There is absolutely no jurisprudence regarding what will happen if AI makes mistakes. India especially, they don't have any rules. The RBI is doing very good job in fintech. Telecom industry is highly regulated and it's doing a decent job. Otherwise, we don't have answers to questions like if today a machine makes painting, who will get the
I don't think we have that exposure to the machines itself. Like if we talk about development of the jurisprudence, we first need to open up the avenues. Like we don't have Tesla Cybertruck available in India. Fact is that we have not opened our possibilities to those exposures yet. So yes, so idea is that a lot of niche areas of legal sphere are now opening up for the opportunity. So if you talk about jealousy, if you talk about the engagement that people have, that is completely understandable. It's an acceptable argument that yes, maybe what we are doing with our project it's completely sort of like individual in nature, creating sort of a perfect market situation and giving us everyone an opportunity. Like I believe if you bring certain guests in your podcast, I get some other guests on my podcast. The listener now has two podcasts to listen to, and I don't
And
think
our format
they're
is
running out of
different, yeah. And the thing is,
time.
see, we get 300 views, right?
Yeah.
We would be in competition if we were getting million views.
Then we
All
would
right.
distract about each other.
I will tell you who my viewers are. My grandmother, all right. My some friends from school, they also now don't care about me.
Yeah.
My parents and other 50 people that I find. So we don't have common viewers. So absolutely no point. Mine is a long format show. Yours is a short format.
Yeah. Yes.
Mine is a weekly thing. Yours it comes every couple of days.
Yeah.
So obviously, yeah, man.
I think I have given up on every this
episodes have you done, yeah?
book format, this out of the book format of podcasting, where you need to prepare a schedule and you need to release it every week and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, I don't care. If I get a guest, I get to record it. If I get to edit it, I am releasing the episode because I want to get done with it, because it takes a lot of time. Does it take a lot of time for you? I think editing takes an entire day for you.
But the thing is, I have a different strategy here. So mine is weekly thing, and I have already. So you won't imagine. I have 8 episodes already recorded. They're on the edit table, and I have content till July. Okay?
Yeah.
So my strategy is different. My strategy is that I enjoyed it so much, the process.
Yes.
That I'm going to prolong it.
Yes. Makes sense.
Yes. And frankly, I also know the fact that I get to evolve with every episode.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the whole idea behind it. So for example, my idea is to have content till September.
Yeah.
And then probably I was thinking in 5th year you get a 3-month break, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to then do that again then. And I don't know, yeah. Do you know Tonight Show? You said Craig Ferguson.
Yeah.
While growing up, when I was in 11th, 12th grade, my dream was to be an actor. Yeah, I wanted to be a comedian. All my friends used to watch AIB videos and think that we are going to start a comedy collective.
Yeah.
We that creative side, and that it's an insect. It won't go away. It will always be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing is, it's already there. So it was my contribution to myself, my portfolio. That I could build a 24 episode series, because by 24, I'll be honest, because all the major sitcoms, they have 24 episodes.
Yes.
That's the only logic. I'm not some guru here who thinks 24 episodes is amazing.
Yeah.
All right. And 24 episodes for me is around 6 months. So I was thinking, all right, 6 months of effort on something. I, as a person, have never given time to it.
Yeah.
And like, I have commitment issues to the whole level where if I get stuck to something, I get not in that sense, but I get scared. Okay? Yeah. So I genuinely feel, today I realized that it's been like 3.5 months I've been doing something. I was talking to my mom. She said, never done this before.
Yeah. Says a man who's been in love with someone for 20 years and has just given up in the journey.
No, not the same girl. The 4-5 girls.
Wow. This is now opening up. Now the conversation is opening up. Now the Gurgaon boy.
This is a process. But what my point is that, like I don't know bad blood, but my only point here is that, I don't know, are we ending it so that I can make closing remarks? Because
continue.
I don't
know. Point. Yeah, it's okay.
No.
We have around 10 more minutes. That's okay. 5 minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes. It's okay.
Yeah. No, my only point here is that, I don't know, I just want to do something different and be true to myself, be authentic.
Yeah.
Like my dad at one point of said, don't joke around, like, these silly jokes I make. My maid has run away. I don't know, I have to do dishes and all of all right. But then I realized this is who I am. Yeah. And this is the only time I will get to do it. Once you enroll with the bar, there are Bar Council of India rules, and you can't then do silly things. You really can't. And I only have 2 years to go. And there's a bucket list I have made. I'll tell you my bucket list. I want to act once in a web series, like proper acting. Right, that is there. I've already written a paper for international journal. My mooting thing was there. See, our first 2-3 years I didn't moot was because everyone was doing it. Then I realized I want to do something else. Now I've already done that. So see, everyone, it's like a different road. They go to the same place, right? You graduate.
Yeah.
So all of us have good researching skills. All my friends are good at all of that, like skills that I am good at.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with national law schools in general. If you and I are given a same job,
yeah,
all right, and probably initially there can be a difference between our work based on our experience. Within 6 months, we'll be delivering same results because this is how the system is.
Yes.
Depends on the trade. That's all.
Yeah.
Right. But thing is, but here so the whole idea was me to do is to deconstruct myself who I was a person, who I was as a person. I stopped emulating, stopped theatre, stopped stand-up. The only thing I didn't give up was music, and I did 40 other things, whatever I wanted to do. I have attended courses with regard to law, ethics, and religion. I have done silliest of the things. I got my first internship. I just literally sat with someone in an Uber pool. He turned out to be a lawyer. He said, "Office aja." I went to his office. Second internship, I printed out my CV, went in front of the Supreme Court. So all of these things are very humbling experiences because then you become secure as a person. Because today I know I have the guts to print out my CV and stand in front of the court. I'm telling you, man, I will do it. If nothing works out, I'll do it. And there is no arrogance about opportunities. Like, obviously, some people say I'm a bit arrogant, but obviously I'm self-aware about it. Like, I'm quite aware. But I obviously try to become a better person. But that's the thing, man. Like, so my bucket list that I was talking about was that, I want to build a product. Like, I want to, like, entrepreneurship is something I want to do.
Yeah.
And build a self-sustaining product. But ultimately, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a brilliant lawyer. And I have found my niche a bit. I want to be a generalist lawyer where I know about a lot of fields, and I want to build a niche practice because the kind of respect lawyers command, and the kind of impact you can have, buddy. Today I can write 5 pages on a paper. Sorry, I can write 5 pages on a PIL, right? And I can get the law changed.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have to have locus standi and good reason, good cause. But my point is the kind of power
it's a possibility. It's a possibility for you. Not a possibility for a lot of other fields. Yeah.
To give that opportunity up, I've come here. I've taken the law degree, and that's what I don't know. I have to do this.
Makes sense.
This is something I have to argue in front of the Supreme Court. I have to. There is absolutely no place where I don't argue. Like, I'm telling you, and you have to have these goals. I mean, people say you should like what you do, and you should plan. No, buddy, but you have to have certain goals in your minds.
Yeah.
You tell me. What are your next 3? Tell me 3 goals you have.
All right. So it's pretty simple. The 3 goals that I have, firstly, is to I need to start preparing for the kind of understanding. So, okay, this is a very straightforward question of yours. 3 goals. Firstly is that I would like to figure out exactly how do you want to proceed with the field that I'm trying to enter into. I don't want to enter a field because I, like you, also share this one common trait of having the confidence to project myself in front of the people, okay? And that also comes with a lot of humbling experience. Like, we've been through experiences where we've been humbled down. I think the practice in the future will humble us down even further. And I think that's an important part of this.
I mean, the moment we enter into course, we will get beaten up. Yeah. And I'm prepared. Today, my boss, I remember Nipun sir, my mentor, I was standing and this was last year, I don't know, last year, what is this drafting your NLU kids? And and obviously I felt sad then, and I know, and as the first 5 years in litigation, I know I can't expect anything.
Yeah. I agree. And that is what I was saying. So the point is that it will humble us down some point of time in the future, may it be law firm or litigation or any other field that we get into. So first is to build a character that will allow me to adjust to the different changes. I think biggest USP that any lawyer can have is a character that is strong with mentality and strong with confidence that even if you fall down, you can bounce back up. That is one factor. Secondly is that I need to be flexible with the kind of areas that I work with in order to become more and more able. So my principle in life is to become more able to do stuff. So the ability needs to increase with every venture that I get into. It may fail or it may not fail. It may succeed, but I must come out as a person with a little bit more of an ability. And last is obviously to meet more and more people. I think, as you said before, there is, if you want to invest in anything, I think investing in people is the biggest capital sort of an investment that you can have. I think podcast is really helping me. If you talk about podcasting, and I think you must also experience this, is exposing us to that kind of an investment a lot. If you talk about people, it's opening us to those possibilities, which is brilliant in the quality that it is giving us the opportunity.
Honestly, or like first 6-7 episodes, I cared about the views I'm getting, the subscribers I'm getting. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, I ask people to subscribe, because once you get more views, there's gratification, and there's so basically you feel that, okay, I should do a better job.
Yes.
But right now, my only aim is, because 6 days a week I'm busy. The internship, and it's very tough, and whatever. Mm-hmm. But the point here is that I'm doing it for myself, and after a while, I've done something just for myself.
Yeah.
Just for the heck of it, that I can do it. I am Jalaj Jain. I mean, because it's obviously, law school is a humbling experience, because you go through it and you feel so insecure. I mean, I sound very confident, but when I went for my internship at a tier 1 firm, first week I couldn't speak loudly in front of anyone, because you feel so intellectually lesser than everyone else.
Yeah.
Obviously, and that's the only way I can overcome that is through reading and through knowledge.
Correct.
And we are in a knowledge game, and and one thing, I'm in no way I'm trying to project that, because whatever we do, this podcast is nothing, because we are not getting anything out of it now.
Correct.
There is no money, there is no. Until and unless there is some gratification, there is some, to any art, people say you shouldn't do it for money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to have self-worth and good to have solution. But today, I know if my legal notice is good, if someone is paying me 25 grand to type it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, simply, man. All right. And that's the value of work, and you should justify that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only, people, and people should really start talking about money more.
Yes.
Especially they should teach us how to invest money. Mm-hmm. They should teach us how to monetize our skills.
Yes, please. Yes. We have absolutely no clue. You talk about, they don't teach us about the regular practice. They don't teach us about how exactly we can start or you talk monetization. So I think this is the kind of shift that we will experience after the lockdown ends. I think this period is giving us a lot of time to introspect what exactly is going on, because now things like Zoom calls, podcasts, online classes, webinars have become a normal activity. It's like a random activity happening every day. You see a lot of changes happening. So I think I'm really optimistic when it comes to changes in the education system as well. I hope so. I'm a little skeptical about the possibility of it going down, but yes, it might change for good. It should change for good.
And last point, a lot of people, work-life balance is not something you should be aiming for, especially first 5 years if you want to make some kind of impact.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think that you are going to work 8 hours a day, and then, I mean, I don't know about, I have seen my father, he works 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
I've seen and it's good. Obviously, successful people might get less chance. But today also, when I read about Falius Nariman, he wakes up at 6 a.m. He wakes up at 6 a.m., goes through the whole day, argues till the evening, then also does his work, whatever. The point here is, you can't put in 8 hours, 10 hours of work and say, I really want to travel the world and I want to see. Good, you want to do that, you do. But if you are not willing to put 14 hours of effort, I know I'm just 21 and I'm sorry, this is not something that I should be saying.
Yeah,
but
the principle is important here. The principle to really put in the effort, the grind is real. That is the reality.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, man, I've seen that, and I wish something good happens and I'm able to impact people. I mean, that's the only reason I am doing this podcast, and obviously there's a reason that I'm doing it for myself. But I want people to know that litigation and firm job is not the only option. Out of all my episodes, I've only had 3 or 4 practicing lawyers. Correct. I have people from human rights. I've had people. I have a female law student from Saudi. That is the kind of range I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be so many things, and people are just wasting. I see sometimes people are just wasting time, whiling away. It's just so bad for economy. People are abusing economy, like 22-year-olds abusing economy and sitting in their house doing nothing. Silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think these all factors really contribute to a larger picture. I think our episode today is overdosed with a lot of a lot of passion.
Be passionate and we support each other. That's the only way we will grow.
Yes.
I also try, and it's a process. You know, it will take you a week. It's not a you can't decide today I won't be jealous.
Yeah.
It's a process. Within 4-5 months, if you try work hard, don't be jealous. You trust me, it will help.
Yeah. So I think the principle here is that if you start working on yourself, you really get busy with your own problems and your own situations. You might just look at other people and respect the grind. I think respecting other people's grind is what will give you a lot of perspective. So yes, I think this is something which is very important that has come out of this episode. We've talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about your journey with your podcast. We've talked about what inspired you, what experiences you've had, and how exactly you see your podcast going down. And we've talked about your interest in technology and its relationship with law, your innovative ideas. I believe this is something that was so much needed, because the real conversation amongst the law students is something that needs to happen a little bit more, so that we can actually bring about our
also guys, spread love.
Yeah.
Please take care of the minorities. Our country is not doing a good job, and please do that and respect everyone.
Yeah.
And last but not the least, dream high, have crazy dreams. Be idiotic, thoda. No need to be that realistic in life. What if Elon Musk was realistic?
Well, but I think this idea of yours of really scaling through your dreams and scaling through your emotions, I think that is very important. And at the end, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for taking time out. I think this was very important for me personally, and very important for anyone who listens to podcasts or is going to start a podcast. Thank you so much for taking time out, and I had a wonderful time. I hope you had a good time too.
I'm sorry, my energy must be a lot as a guest, because as a podcast, like as an interviewer, I'm like, sir, but now as a guest, I was a little arrogant. I'm so sorry.
No, I completely understand it. You're allowed to be as I think that is why I wanted you on this show, because I wanted to share that raw feeling, that raw emotions. When you talk about appreciating others, that's important, because we need to, as a peer group, we need to start appreciating others.
Of course, yeah. Message everyone if they're doing a good job. Tell everyone, call people.
Yes.
We have to support each other. Who else will do it?
Correct, because everyone is facing their own problems, and somehow they're coming out with a product which is through a journey
forget all
giving
the
out a
past
product.
I mean, like, obviously there will be people who you don't like, but there is absolutely no reason for you to just be I will not help that person. No, help everyone. I mean, I try and do it. I mean, whoever, like, whatever, I don't know. Chalo, good.
It's a good. Yeah, we will wrap it up. Thank you so much, Jalaj. I think this has been a wonderful experience. Thank you so much for taking time out. I'll bid you good night, goodbye, and I hope that someday the One Take Show and Fun with Law can collaborate to host some really awesome as guests sometime in the future, and maybe it can become a big thing. I really look forward to your episodes, and I would suggest all my listeners to please do tune into Fun with Law. If you do not, it's a wonderful podcast. And yes, reach out to Jalaj. Jalaj is the person who would definitely reply to your messages on LinkedIn.
I always.
Yes, perfect.
You like it?
Yeah, perfect.